Hello, everybody. Welcome to the New Wellness Show. My name is Marie-France Garon, and I am here today with Sean Olson. Sean is a former fitness professional and trainer for many years. And then he now specializes in helping people to get better, get healthy, working from their home. All many different tips that people can do to get in shape and get better from home. So welcome, Sean.
Good to be here. Thank you very much.
So today we're going to look at the 9 steps to the best night's sleeps every night.
Yeah, fantastic.
That's a very interesting, Sean, because there's so many people that have trouble sleeping. And I was just having a discussion, not long ago with my friend. And then those people that don't have problem sleeping have no idea what it is not to sleep well. And so we need all the help. So we have 9 steps that we're going to go through with you.
Perfect. Yep.
Okay. So now tell us about bedtime. What time should we go to bed?
Okay. Yes. So the number one thing we're going to talk about today is how to choose a bedtime. So before I jump into any of this, I just want to preface the reason that we're even talking about sleep right now is it's a major component and many times an overlooked component of being healthy, right? We spend a third of our life sleeping. That's how important it is for us to maximize that time, because think about the last time you didn't get a good night's sleep.
Oh,
Maybe.
I can remember. It happens to me all the time.
Sure.
So I need your advice.
Okay, so we'll go through these. But every time you don't have a good night's sleep, whether you don't get enough sleep or the quality isn't what you need it to for you to actually rest and recover, the next day you feel like garbage.
Yeah.
You feel like maybe you drank too much the next day and you got a severe hangover or something crazy, because your body needs that time off. It needs to be able to generate energy, repair damage, do a lot of different things. Okay, so number one, choosing a bedtime is super important because this sets you up for the next day. So the reason that we're going to look at a whole big structure around setting a bedtime is because of what it is that you have going on in your world. All right, so we're going to start on the following day, and you're going to look at what is the time that you actually need to start doing things. Okay, so we have a requirement usually is like, I've got to be to work by 8 o'clock.
Okay, yeah.
How much time does it take you to wake up and get ready and get to work? Maybe it's an hour. So now we're talking 7 o'clock. And if you don't do anything before 7 o'clock when you wake up, then that is your wake up time.
Yeah.
So we have to know when it is that we need to wake up before we set a bedtime. Because in order for sleep to be helpful, we have to get enough duration.
Yeah.
All right. So first off, we're going to talk, how long are you sleeping? So as adults, most people need between 6 and 9 hours. There's a range depending on your body function and sort of what you've accustomed yourself to. My grandma's crazy. She sleeps about 4 hours and swears she can't do more than that. But for the most part, most people need, 6 to 9 hours. Me, my number is 7. I know this because on the nights that I only get 6, I don't feel like I've gotten enough. If I get 8 or 9, I feel like I've slept too long, and then I'm even more tired. So 7 is my sweet spot. So I know if I've got to get up at 7 o'clock to be able to get to work by 8, then I need to be in bed by midnight.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's number one, is how to choose the bedtime is based on how much duration of sleep do you intend to get, and when is that wake up time. All right. So that's kind of point number one.
And just another question on that one, Sean,
Sure.
because I heard many times that they say that it's the sleep that you get before midnight that's the best sleep as well. We hear that a lot as well. It's better to go to bed early and get up earlier, do you think?
It depends on what it is that you do and how you operate. So, for example, I get up about 5:30. So I need to be to work by 7. So I get up at 5:30. So I have enough time. to brush my teeth, go to the bathroom, get dressed, um, take my vitamins, drink my water, and get dressed so I can also go for a walk for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
now, if you intend to do anything prior to going to work, then yes, I would highly recommend to get up earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. And even giving yourself a little bit less stress time, and we're not going to go too much into, how you operate your day. This is mostly about sleep, but being able to give yourself enough time where you're not waking up stressed,
Mm.
feeling like you got to jump out of bed and run real
Run.
fast.
No.
That's
Yeah.
that's
Not good.
unhelpful. But as far as the time that you go to sleep and the time that you wake up, um, there's different pros and cons around different sides of it, but for the most part, as long as you get into some of the other things that I'm going to talk about and the environment that you are in is
Mm-hmm.
correct, the
Yeah.
time frame is actually not as beneficial. Most of our internal awareness of time is based on circadian rhythms, based on our ability to see the sun. So they've done studies actually where they put people in caves underground and their bodies reset to more of about a 36-hour time clock where they were awake for 36 hours and they were asleep for more like 12 to 16 hours
Oh.
because they couldn't see the sun. So it's
Mm.
very, very important to just realize how much time you need to sleep based on what it is that you're doing as an activity during the day.
Sure. Okay. Now, point number 2 here, we're going to talk about drinking water. We know how
Okay.
important it is to drink a lot of water, but
Yes.
maybe not before bedtime.
Yeah, definitely. So
I'm
when it
going to.
comes to water, especially as we get older, now I'm approaching 40 this year, so
Oh,
I can't say I'm old, but I'm getting older. How much liquid you have before you go to bed is something to pay attention to. Now we start this with little kids. We say, hey, don't drink a whole bunch of water before you go to bed because you're going to pee the bed.
yeah.
As
Yes.
we get older, our bodies get really good with the muscle tension and being able to hold it. Now, your body can only hold it for so long, and then it will knock on your door and say, "Hey, I'm over here. I need, some pressure release," right? And it
Oh, yeah.
wakes
Yeah.
you up. You wake up out of a dead sleep because you got to go pee.
Yeah.
All right. Now, that's not the end of the world, but the less times that you have to go through the fall asleep and wake up process during that 7 hour period of sleep, the better quality of sleep you're going to have. So, the more interruptions we can get rid of, including having to get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, we're going to improve that quality of sleep. So, my rule of thumb is to try and limit, okay, not like eliminate, but limit how much fluids you intake, especially water,
Yeah.
within 2 hours of going to bed.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
This allows, number one, enough time to prehydrate. So we can drink enough water where we're not going to bed and getting thirsty in the middle of the night because we haven't had any water. So you don't want to go to bed thirsty. You want to be hydrated. But in that 2 hour period, it also allows you to eliminate any excess. So if you've drank more water than what your body can absorb, then you're going to go to pee before you go to bed.
Uh-huh.
So that allows you to go to sleep hydrated, not have the excess water in your system, and extend that duration so that the quality of sleep is improved, not having to go pee.
Makes sense. It makes sense. Now, to be in a dark place and quiet place, not your
Mm,
window near the train. Huh? The
yeah.
train goes every hour, let's say. It's not a good idea. Huh? Very
No,
disturbing.
so yeah, so topic number 3 is to set yourself up in a quiet and a dark environment to eliminate unwanted stimulus. Now, we have 5 different senses. We all know what they are, so I'm not going to go through them.
Yeah.
But the 2 that I'm talking about is sight and sound. These are 2 big ones for us when we sleep. So, number 1, it needs to be quiet. If you
Yeah.
have a TV playing in the background, especially if it has variable tones.
Ah,
So,
yeah.
background noise is not necessarily the problem, it's the sharp injection of tone that stimulates the auditory senses. So if you are listening to something and it's consistent, your mind turns it off. So there are
Okay.
background noises that are beneficial, and I'm not going to go into too much of the science stuff. But if you have something where you're watching TV, and sometimes it's loud and sometimes it's quiet, on those spikes of sound, it stimulates the auditory senses. And when we have our auditory senses turned on so that we can receive the sound, it turns off the hormone production for melatonin.
Oh,
So as you have these influxions of sound, it decycles your body from the sleep cycle.
okay.
So as you're going to sleep, if you're watching TV, for example, turn it down very, very, very low. Second, lower the brightness. Best is
Oh, yeah.
just to turn it off. But
Mm,
I'm saying there are people who have conditioned themselves to sleep with a TV on. Lower the brightness as much as possible and the sound. Okay, so the sound, we want to reduce the auditory sense. Same with the light. Now, people are like, well, why does it matter if I have a TV on and my eyes are closed? Even
mm,
your eyelids do not block light. So if you put your hands over your eyes and then open them up, even with your eyes closed, you can tell a difference of light.
yeah.
So the light from the TV actually penetrates through your eyelids and into your eyeballs and stimulates the visual senses. So similar to the auditory, when we're trying to receive information, it stimulates that part, which then turns off the things that we need to get us to sleep or to keep us asleep. So
Mm-hmm.
same kind of thing during the middle of the night. You don't want to wake up to the TV because now you've turned off that production of melatonin that gets you into those deep REM sleeps. So
Mm.
very, very important to have as much control over quietness and light as you
And
set up
as
your
you
sleep
said, it's
environment.
so true that so many people have gotten used to sleep with the TV and or some radio show or anything like that, and it's very disturbing, as I can hear. Yeah.
Not a
All
positive thing.
right. Now, the room temperature is important too.
Yes, very similar to sight and sound. Feeling is another sense. So if we have an abundance of heat, not only does our body feel that, but we start to stimulate. And we do this by sweating. And
Yeah.
so, number one is we are dehydrating ourselves. So, we have a higher likelihood to have to want to wake up and drink some water to rehydrate. But number two is you have stimulated your body to start another production inside of itself to compensate for too much heat.
Uh-huh.
Normally, it doesn't get too cold inside of your room. Almost never. Unless you are just blasting the air conditioner and you've got a fan blowing in your face and you went to bed wet or something. I don't know. But very rarely do we have it too cool. Most of the time it's on the hotter end of the spectrum. So setting yourself up in a cool environment allows your body to regulate its own natural heat in the blanket that you're probably using, but not to a point where it's stimulated. So we have a natural regulator inside of our body to stay at a certain temperature. If we get too cold, this is where we shiver to try and warm ourselves back up. I don't know how many people have ever woke up in bed shivering. You're wearing a blanket, probably not.
Yeah.
But you've probably woken up hot, maybe sweating a little bit because you didn't set the environment up correctly. So, the number one thing for me is in order to control the temperature, I do actually run a fan in my room.
All
So
right.
again, it does create a background noise, but because it's constant, your body tunes it out. It's not a consistent stimulation.
Yeah.
Number two, it helps circulate the air. But the big one is I turn the heat down in my house's temperature. So
Mm.
when I go to bed, I run it at a cooler temperature for the entire house.
Yeah.
And then when we wake back up, we turn the heat back up. So being able to keep it nice and cool in my room allows me to avoid that sweating situation. It also helps to not get as much sweat on your bed and your pillows and all of those sorts of
Of
things.
course, yeah.
So we
Yeah.
have that natural tendency to sweat
Mm,
frequently as we
mm.
sleep. So
Window open if it's not, like here we're in country, it's no noise.
yes.
It's a good idea, fresh air. Yeah.
That is depending on the outside. And again, if you open the window, you're letting go of some of this control of the environment. So I will say I have my window open, but I also live in a very quiet
Yeah.
environment where I don't
Mm.
have too loud a noise too often. So I also, if you need to open a window and you have access to more than one, open the one that's the farthest away from you. The
Yeah. Oh,
closer
yes.
you are to the window, the louder the noises seem to be.
Yeah.
So if you have to open a window, yeah, use the far one if you can.
Yeah. So the next point, Sean, is about how often should we wash our bed sheets?
Oh, okay, yeah. When it comes to going to sleep, a lot of times we feel like all we're doing is laying down in the bed, we're sleeping there for a little while, and then we get back up. Like I don't get the sheets dirty by laying on them unless I went to bed really dirty or something weird.
Mm-hmm.
But just like I've mentioned a number of times, is we
We
sweat.
sweat.
It's a
Mm.
very natural process. We also lose skin. We flake
Uh-huh.
off skin all the time.
Yes.
And so it's very important to wash your bedding very frequently, at least once per week.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to go into statistics about how much we sweat because that varies per person or whatever, but it can be several liters a week, depending on how your body works, what temperature you're at, all that sort of thing. And
Multiply
so
by two when you're
yeah,
two people.
multiple people, exactly. So it's very, very important not only to, just get rid of that bacteria sort of breeding environment,
Yeah.
health wise, but how good does it feel to get
Uh,
into a fresh, clean pair of sheets,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You
It
know,
does.
so that setting up of the environment also is very important because it gets you excited to go to bed. Oh, I just put new clean sheets on there and they're nice and crisp, and you feel good going to bed. So
Definitely. Mm.
lots of benefits, and
Especially
washing.
when you can hang them out outside, which we can't do that here in the winter, but
Sure.
we really look forward to hang out our bed sheets outside on the line to get more sun on it, and because the sun is really good, to kill bacteria very
Correct.
much.
Yeah.
Even if you wash and warm water, hot water, whatever, but when you hang them out on the sun, it kills bacteria as well. Yeah.
And it's like natural starch. They get that extra crispy and
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what about a mattress? Should we buy a very expensive one? What should
Yeah,
we do
that's a
about our
good question.
mattress?
So mattresses vary a lot for a lot of reasons. So when it comes to what kind of mattress you need, that is going to depend on you specifically. I prefer a firm mattress.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm a pretty big dude. I need some extra support. But I like to be able to really keep my posture correct.
Yeah.
So I also sleep with a body pillow that allows me to, control these factors. The more soft a bed is, the softer a bed is. That's better terminology. The more you're going to have that effect of a cradle, where the spine can bend and that sort of thing. So for lighter people, people who don't weigh as much, you can actually get away with a softer bed.
Yeah.
Usually, the bigger you are, the more you weigh, the firmer it tends to be that a mattress will support you.
Sure.
Now, as far as price of a mattress, that's also really varied depending on what brand you're getting, where you live, what kind of mattress it is. So, for example, you get a standard, just square mattress and it doesn't have any pillow tops or anything. You can get a fairly cheap one. But if you get the ones that are like, separated in the middle and you can adjust the pressures and they have inclines, and I mean, you can spend 10 grand on a bed.
Yeah.
What I will tell you, regardless, is buy the best bed that you can afford.
Mm-hmm.
You spend 1/3 of your life in bed.
Yeah.
This is not a place where you want to skimp on how much you are spending on a bed.
Mm.
Now, as far as mattresses go, you're not going to keep this forever, okay? So I don't want you to always have to go to the highest end possible, spending 10 grand on a mattress. You better get the best dang mattress ever, but every 5 to 8 years you need to replace them. We're
Oh,
sweating in them every single night. We are shedding skin cells. The average bed doubles in weight in 5 to 8 years
oh, wow.
because it
And then
goes into
they
the bed
sell you
working.
beds that are guaranteed 30 years, things like that. There's no need for that.
Unless they are just environment proof somehow. I've never met one of those beds, so
Okay.
that would be tough for me. But those are also probably more the $10,000 range that most people aren't buying. So yes, the more you spend on a bed, the higher likelihood it is going to last a longer time frame. But on average, the general typical bed is 5 to 8 years of lifespan, and you want to replace it not only because they break down and they don't have the same support, but
Yeah.
they're holding all that stuff they've been collecting for several
Yeah.
years. It's a health thing.
Uh-huh. Okay. But then what about the pillows? Same?
Similar. So again, pillows are not thousands of dollars. You can
Yeah.
get them for as cheap as $10 or as much as several hundred, depending on the kind of pillow that you're looking for. The pillow itself, sort of regardless of what kind you get, you want to replace them once or twice a year. So every 6 to 12 months, you want to get a new pillow. Same kind of thing. The materials break down, they absorb things. We want to recycle um, for health reasons. But the type of pillow that you get also varies a lot depending on a lot of factors. So for me, I have really wide shoulders. So I am a side sleeper as well. So when I sleep on my side, because my shoulders are so big, I'm farther away from the bed than somebody with smaller shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
So I need a bigger gusset, is what it's called on a pillow. It's where there's a top piece, a bottom piece, and there's like a ring around the middle kind of thing. So I buy specifically side sleeper pillows with an extra high gusset so that it allows my head to stay in proper alignment while
Yeah.
I sleep.
Mm.
Somebody who doesn't have the same size or maybe sleeps on their back or on their stomach or whatever it may be, you're going to adjust the type of pillow based on how it is that you need supported.
Did you mention how often we change them? The pillows?
Yeah, every 6 to 12 months, we want to make sure that they're made out of cotton and foam and whatever these materials are, and they break down. The average head weighs probably about 10 pounds, and so you lay something 10 pounds on a material every single night for several hours, and a lot of times you're rolling around. It's not
Yeah,
just
and then you sweat a
stationary.
lot around your head as well.
Right, and then you
Yeah.
add the moisture and all that kind of stuff. You're compressing the material, so it just
Yeah.
breaks down. Yeah.
So, next question: if you do have to get up in the night to get a drink of water or to go to the bathroom,
Sure.
don't turn on the light. Just go in the dark.
Yes, yeah. So
Yeah.
similar to the dark environment, a stimulation of light will automatically turn on your receptor senses. It's that functionality to receive the light and process it that our body naturally does. But in order to do that, is it turns off the sleep cycle, which is the melatonin production and all the other hormones and everything that way. So if you have to get up and either get a drink or go to the bathroom, if you need light, get a night light. I know it sounds silly, like it's only for children or whatever it may
Oh
be,
yeah, a
but
little
it's
light that
a
stays on.
little
Just
tiny
very,
one.
yeah, yes.
Yeah.
We do
We
have that
don't
here.
want you falling over the footbed and, hitting your head because you're trying to avoid the light. And maybe you're not blind and so you haven't felt all the walls and know how to manicure yourself through your, house in the dark. But avoid as much light exposure as you can in the middle of the night. So if I have to get up in the middle of the night, I kind of know where I'm going. And I do sort of like a peek. So I don't have a night light, but I have light that comes in through the bathroom that's in my
Yeah,
bedroom. And so I will just open my eye enough to see where I'm going and then close my eyes and sort of walk and then open
yeah.
a little bit and then make sure I get there. And then, I'm going to the bathroom with my eyes closed and then repeat the process. So literally, like, even if there is light, I'm trying to avoid as much as possible while I'm getting there and coming back. So yeah, as little light as possible is very,
As
very
little as
important.
possible.
And yeah, triggering those natural cycles.
Now, we need to set an alarm, even if we don't have, if it's a Saturday or if we don't have a time, specific time that we must be at work or something. We should set an alarm still. Someone like me.
So I recommend it. Okay, and I'm going to say this for a couple of reasons. Number one is we have internal alarms. So if you're very excited about something, you've got a big event, you're going on a plane ride,
And wake up.
somebody you haven't seen in a long time is coming to town, whatever it may be, you kind of set this internal alarm to wake up excited and do a thing. Okay. So if you have something that you are looking forward to, setting that alarm is also very important, because you may be a little overstimulated the night before and not allowed yourself to get into that same restful cycle in the same amount of time. So number two is, if you don't have something, we have the tendency to sleep in.
Yeah.
It's very easy on the weekend, at least for most people. You work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, and then the weekend we decide that I'm going to sleep in. And that's not that good of an idea most of the time.
No.
Okay. Your body doesn't need how much, or change how much sleep it needs based on what day of the week it is. So in order to keep yourself in a healthy recuperative cycle that is consistent, the alarm on the weekend is also important, so that you don't oversleep. Because remember, I mentioned earlier, if I sleep 8 or 9 hours, I actually feel more tired.
Yeah.
So you don't really benefit yourself in any way by trying to sleep in. What I will say is in this sake, it doesn't have to say the same time to wake up or go to sleep if you don't require something to be immediately started on the next day. So for example, you stay up late at night and you don't have anything, to go to bed in the morning. When you go to bed, just set an alarm that's 7 hours away from wherever you're going to sleep.
Yes.
It still creates the same time frame and the need to get up. The other part of this is the nights when I don't set an alarm, I tend to wake up early, because I'm aware that I don't have something that's going to wake me up specifically when I need to. So my body is trying to naturally guess. It doesn't know what time it is unless I wake up to look at the clock. And now I have opened my eyes, I've received information, my body is thinking about what's going on, and then I'm trying to go back to sleep because I'm an hour and a half early. And then I got to start the process all over. So it allows us to disconnect from the process of having to naturally wake ourselves up.
So if the alarm is set, because I'm like this as well. If I have something on or something exciting or somewhere to go, which I don't have all the time, then I wake up before to check what time is it now, and what time is it now. Oh, it's only 4. Okay, I have another 2 hours or whatever. And so you wake up to check what time is it now. So if you have your alarm, you don't have to do that.
Right. Yep. It allows you to disconnect from that wake up requirement.
Wow. So many great tips, Sean. I think that it's going to help so many people, me first, because I need all that. Yes. Definitely. So is there anything else you would like to share, or how can people get hold of you? Because you have many different programs that you're running, and share with us a little bit about that, please.
Sure. Yes. So number one is a couple of extra tips around sleep is number one, also change your blankets. So a lot of times, we think of washing the bedding. We only wash the sheets and the pillows. Also wash the blankets.
Of course.
I've had people ask me that question before, so I just want to make sure I throw that in. Number two is I actually also sleep with a body pillow. So this is something that is long enough. It's about my height, but it allows me to have something to rest my arms on. So again, because I have wide shoulders, if I don't have something to hold, there's a big drop.
Yeah.
from me to the bed.
Yeah.
So it allows me to stay in position, and it's long enough that I can put it between my knees, which separates so my hips are also in line as a natural posture piece. So again, making sure that you are in a position where you don't have to adjust because your body actually gets uncomfortable. So
Mm.
being able to maintain a position as long as possible is something that's helped me actually have better nights of sleep. So um, we can always, add more things to sleeping. There's uh, a lot of really deep stuff we can go into with sleep, but for the most part, it's a control of the environment. It's very much making sure that you're setting yourself up to succeed at sleeping. And
Yeah.
that sounds really simple, but it takes a few awareness pieces and a proper coordination so that
Yes.
you can get to that place. So as far as everything else that I do, sleep is one part of health, guys. You can have the best night of sleep, but if you just trash your body the rest of the day while you're awake, sleep is only going to do so much for you.
Mm.
So a lot of what I teach people is how to pick apart these individual pieces that make up a healthy lifestyle. So again, we're going to be coming back week after week here with several different topics that are health related, and we're going to break down the individual pieces that need to be paid attention to so that we can encompass that overall healthy lifestyle. So one of the other pieces that I'm working on right now is a walking challenge. We talked about this a little bit last week, but
Yeah.
going for a daily walk is something that has magnified my ability to maintain my health with very little effort. So if you guys are looking for something as simple as walking to help boost your fitness and start the weight loss process, you can head to challengewalking.com.
Yeah.
There is a $7 challenge for 30 days of walking that we got going on right now. We just started that yesterday, so we
Oh,
have signups that are now for the next round of the challenge. So
okay.
if you want to get in on that, it is limited. I only have so many spaces available because I am directly involved in it. So that's a real simple way to start with a micro commitment and then slowly add these other pieces. So as you guys are watching this and you keep coming back week after week, we're going to be adding to your little toolkit of knowledge
Yeah.
about what are the pieces that I need for a simplistic maintenance of health. Because most of the time when we talk about health, people are in the rush mode. How do I get out there and get a six pack in 6 weeks? Like
Yeah.
it first of all isn't healthy if you're able to do that. And secondly, what you did to do that was very extreme and probably not sustainable for the rest of your life.
Hmm.
Nobody wants to be healthy for 3 weeks. They
No.
want to be healthy forever.
Mm.
Nobody needs six-pack abs to be healthy. You need to be able to have a balance between the output and the results. So what I've done is I've simplified all of the steps that are actually necessary and put it into a system that is sustainably followable, and it's consistent. It works. Very excited about it. So I don't want to go too far with that, but if you guys also have any questions for me, you can also hit me up directly on Facebook and Messenger. That's
Yeah.
a real easy way to get a hold of me there.
Excellent. Is there a link that we can put in the group?
Challengewalking.com.
Okay, challengewalking.com.
Yeah, that's the
Excellent.
way.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Sean. I have learned a lot. I mean, it's quite simple when you think about it, what you shared, but it makes a lot of sense to apply those little things. Very simple, easy to do, easy not to do.
Sure.
But if you want to sleep better, start applying those 9 steps and see the difference, huh?
Absolutely.
All right, Sean. Thank you. We'll see you again next week.
All right, guys. Enjoy your day.
Okay. Thanks, everyone, for being here with us. And we'll see you again very soon next week.